Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about a topic that I feel like is not spoken about enough, and I kind of want to be your big sister and help you in some sort of way if you are struggling or if you just need a little bit of advice from experience. Obviously, I am not a doctor, so please don't take my advice without consulting your doctor first. It's always worth having a chat with them just to obviously check that this is right for you, because everybody's bodies are very different. But yeah, I basically wanted to speak about my contraception journey, periods, having hypothalamic amenorrhea for nearly 2 years, and just how I'm dealing with being a woman, because it's hard. And the last time that I spoke about this topic was over 2 years ago, and I just feel like I've got a lot more life experience now, and I don't know, I just feel like I can chat about this topic probably a little bit easier and probably give you even better advice. So I actually put a story up on Instagram the other day, and I had so many questions once I answered this particular question about losing my period. And I just thought, instead of flooding my stories, that I would do an updated video for you. So if you're here, welcome, and stay tuned, because I'm going to cover absolutely everything that I want to cover and that I feel will help many of you. But before we get into this video, please make sure that you like this video and subscribe to my channel and just join the fam, because we are growing and it's so exciting. YouTube is literally my favorite channel, so thank you guys. So I'm going to take you right back to the start of when I was 16 and when I started going on contraception. Like a lot of women, or like a lot of young girls, I just immediately went on the pill when I turned 16 because I had a boyfriend and obviously didn't want to get pregnant, and all of my friends were basically going on it, some for like their skin, some for their heavy periods, some obviously because they were having sex, and I basically decided to go on it. But I remember going to the doctors and kind of just asking them what I should do, because obviously I had a boyfriend, and I just remember them literally just saying, yeah, you should go on the pill, and they literally just prescribed me. I think it was microgynon, because I think that's like the first one that everyone goes on. So yeah, I went on the pill, and I was literally on that pill from the age of 16 all the way until I finished university. So that's from like 16 to 21, which is 5 years. Good maths, Ellie. A very long time, I feel. And I remember being at university, and at that time I didn't actually have that boyfriend, and I was single for like 2 years. But I remember like in that time I was like, I should probably come off the pill, because obviously I didn't have a boyfriend, there was not really any point. But I just kind of got used to it, and it's quite nice being able to like control your periods, isn't it? Like when you go on holiday, you can just back to back the packs. I was kind of worried also like what my periods would be like without being on the pill. So yeah, I don't know, I just got used to it and I didn't stop. And then after finishing university, I had another boyfriend, go me. And then, I don't know, it was like a year after finishing university, I just felt really, really emotionless. I don't know, it just suddenly hit me like all within 6 months. I felt emotionless, I didn't want to have sex, I lost like all sex drive whatsoever. And everyone around me was like, are you sure it's not your partner? I was like, no, this is just weird. Like I've literally lost all drive for like anything. Like you could put Channing Tatum in front of me and I'll be like, absolutely not. So that's when I knew that something was really wrong. But yeah, it was just like a few things. I just felt like emotionless, I felt moody. I don't know, I just felt numb. I feel like that's the best word to kind of describe it. So I just kind of thought, do you know what? Like I wasn't really having sex anyway. So I just thought, let's come off it for a bit. Let's just have a little bit of a break. So I came off the pill, and slowly but surely my moods kind of changed and I turned into a completely different person. I'm not gonna lie, like I feel like that pill had kind of molded me into like this person throughout the whole like past 5 years, and then this like new person had come out and they'd like blossomed. It was really, really strange, and I know it probably sounds like a little bit unbelievable, but it really is true. Drink break. And my periods actually came back. I can't remember exactly when, maybe like a month or two after stopping. They did come back and they regulated quite quickly. And then everything was fine. I just thought, God, this is great. Like I'm a new person. So my periods regulated, and in this time I actually got into the gym. So I started working out, and believe it or not, when I was at university, I think I went to the gym about 5 times. And I was that person that headed up to cardio space and literally just walked on the treadmill or did a run. That was me. So when I got into the gym, I just absolutely fell in love with it. I mean, obviously like it's my job now, and I started a fat loss journey. So I thought I really need to get in shape. I just finished university and I just really wasn't that confident in myself. I just needed something to kind of like focus on. And obviously when you start working out, it gives you that confidence because you feel better in yourself, you look better, or you think you look better. And I just think like the gym has so many positive benefits. So I started a fat loss journey, and within I'd say like maybe 6 months I'd lost quite a lot of weight, and I don't know, I feel like I was lean. I still had my period at this point. And then after that, I actually decided to do like a bulk. And then after that, I did like another cut. And then at this point, because I got into the gym so much, I then started to do CrossFit. So CrossFit was like my absolute passion at the time because it kind of gave me like a sense of community. At the time I was living at my family home in Kent and didn't really have like many friends around me. So for me to be able to go to a gym and like do classes with other people and get help and chat and literally spend like the whole morning there was just so fun. And it got to the point where I was doing maybe like 4 to 5 CrossFit classes a week, which is quite a lot. And of course CrossFit, you burn so many calories. Like I think in each session was like 600 to 800 calories, which is a lot for me because I think like my typical workout, say like a leg day, I'd probably burn like 450 slash maybe 500. So yeah, it was a lot of calories, and to be doing that like 4 to 5 times a week is quite a lot. And then because like my diet wasn't up to scratch as well, I'd say like I was definitely under eating and overtraining. Everything just kind of then started to happen, and I remember my period was quite late one month. And then it just never came. And I don't know, I feel like it's really like hard saying this right now, but I definitely enjoyed it. I didn't have a period for in total 18 months, which looking back is absolutely insane. And I think for like a good 12 months, it was great because I went on holiday, like in the summer, didn't have to worry about it. I was obviously like super lean, which I loved at the time as well because I thought that like the leaner I was, the better. I was loving my training. And then yeah, I just remember like after kind of a year-ish, my dad's partner, she has grandchildren, and I remember kind of them coming round and I was like, wow, I cannot currently have children because I do not have a period. And that kind of hit me a little bit. And then I think the biggest like wake up call for me was when my dad actually found out that I'd lost my period, and he kind of just sat me down. Obviously it's a bit awkward because it's your dad, but then my dad's like my closest, probably like the closest one to me and the only one that would probably like tell me this. And he just said like, he was like, this is really not good. Like you need to do something about this. He was like, what have you been doing? He was like, it's all that training. Like, you know, you're probably not eating enough. You need to rest more. And I just thought, yeah, you are actually right. And at this point, like, I think like the next day or something, I booked an appointment at the doctor's, and I feel like I'd already mentioned this to them anyways, but I booked an appointment at the doctor's and I went to the doctor's appointment. They actually gave me a blood test just to check that everything was fine. And they did say, they were like, oh yeah, like it's fine, you're healthy weight, blah, blah, blah. So I waited for like these blood test results to come back and everything came back fine. And they were like, yeah, it will come back at some point. That was literally it. No advice, just it will come back at some point. You need to kind of not be so stressed. I was like, great. Not be so stressed. I own my own business. Like, I don't know. That kind of like no advice from the doctor was not great. But then I started to do like my own research on it, and I was actually studying to become an osteopath at the same time. And obviously we do like a lot into women's health and like everybody's health. So I knew a lot more about it, and I decided it was time to make a change because not having your period, and this is actually called hypothalamic amenorrhea, and it's the loss of your period due to stress, overtraining, undereating, and it's kind of like a combination of all of it, or it could just be like a single thing. It just depends on the person. For me, it was basically all of it because I was stressed in my personal life. I was stressed from the training. The training was like overstressing my body and not allowing it to recover. And then I was under eating as well, not giving it my body what it needed. So it's basically like your body kind of shutting down and being like, no. So when your body doesn't have like enough energy, it shuts off the thing that it doesn't need, and that is reproduction because it's not a necessity. So yeah, I started to kind of make changes in terms of like getting my period back, and I'd say it took, I can't remember offhand, but I think it was around 6 months, potentially, maybe a little bit less. So the first thing that I started doing was I actually reduced the amount of CrossFit classes that I was doing because like I said, I was doing 4 to 5 CrossFit sessions a week. And CrossFit is very similar, I'd say, to like HIIT training in regards to like it doesn't allow your body to recover a lot. So if you're someone that has lost your period and are doing a lot of HIIT training or a lot of running or CrossFit, something similar like that, you need to kind of look at how much you're training and just try and maybe drop a day or 2 down. So I actually dropped to 3 days a week. And I'd say that I tried to do more like weight training in the sessions. I didn't do like a lot of like HIIT or high intensity work because that's what stresses the body out. So it's really important to like look at the amount of times you're training and also like any kind of like high high intensity training. And they actually say that with HIIT training, you shouldn't do more than like 2 sessions a week if you do have HA. So definitely something to kind of think about. And then alongside that, I started to eat more food because I was very lean. And do you know what though? Like, I feel like if you look to my body, I'll insert a picture here. You probably look at that and think, yeah, she's lean, but she's not like ridiculously lean. I was lean, okay, I am lean, but I don't think you think she's really, really thin. I think, well, I guess it just depends how you look at it. But for me, like that was very, very, very lean, and it was very unhealthy for my body. And I think it took a while for me to kind of realize that. And I think, yeah, when you lose your period to HA, you do kind of have to think like, is this a maintainable body fat for me? And sometimes like having a few extra pounds of body fat is actually so much worth it because you have fertility, you have a period, your mood's better, your energy levels are better, your weight training sessions better. There's just so many more things that are like more positive. So it's definitely something to think about. So yeah, I started to increase my calories. I was tracking macros at the same time, so same amount of protein as always, but I just increased my carbs and my fats, and I ate to a really good maintenance level, and I'd say some days probably in a surplus. And it did towards the end, like before I got my period, I was like, this is really annoying me now, like I want it back. And I remember just eating even more because I just wanted it back more. And you do kind of like, I feel like when it comes back, you do really feel it coming back. Like you get all those like PMS symptoms, your hormones come back, you're like, emotions come back. It's really weird, but you do kind of just feel all that. And yeah, the food is a massive, massive part of it. And one thing I actually took as well, which I swear by, is a supplement called inositol. So it's actually used for people with PCOS, polycystic ovaries, as a supplement to kind of regulate their periods, and it's really proven to do that. So if you're someone who's lost your period, it might be worth kind of looking into getting inositol because it is very proven. I think another vitamin that I didn't actually take is folic acid. So again, something to look into, but I didn't actually take that one. I just took my inositol and I saw great effects. You literally just take like a little scoop of it once a day, and you like can have it with your squash, or you can have it with water, and you don't taste any of it. And yeah, I definitely think that that helped as well. Another thing that I really made sure that I was doing was getting enough sleep. So I was getting around 7 to 9 hours sleep a night, and I was really making sure that I was putting my phone down at like 8:30 to make sure that I was like switching off before I went to bed. And it's so important to get into a sleep routine because if you're not getting enough sleep, then your body is not going to recover, and it needs to be able to recover in order to obviously perform at its best. And if you're fatigued and you're tired, your period is not going to come back. So it's really important to make sure you're getting enough sleep. The next thing was stress, and I mean like personal stress. We were obviously already spoken about training stress. So personal stress like in your life is so hard to control because obviously it's really personal, and you kind of just have to be really mentally there to be able to control it. So I don't know, I managed to do it by myself. Mine was a lot of like work stress. So if you're someone that's quite stressed with work, I really find something that helps me is if I'm stressed with something, I'll write down on paper the things that I'm stressed with, and I'll try and find like solutions to these problems. And if I feel like something is stressing me out, so say if like, I don't know, say if I'm like spending money on something every month, say if I'm spending money on like a person, right, every single month that I'm employing, and it's stressing me out because this person is not doing their job and I'm not really getting what I'm paying for, then my solution for that would be either have a chat with them and obviously get their work up to scratch, or obviously not work with them anymore. So something like that, like I would always just try and find like a little solution for it, and it's really helped me to kind of manage like any personal stress. So yeah, it's definitely worth looking into personal stress because I feel like a lot of people kind of like underestimate that and they feel, no, I'm not stressed, but then you are. And when you're stressed as well, your body will release a lot of cortisol, and again, that can affect the way you look and of course like if your period's gonna come back or not. Another thing that I actually used to do as well when I was doing like all this CrossFit and before losing my period is I used to not eat breakfast in the morning. And I don't know how I used to do that because now I wake up and I am in that biscuit jar or I am in the snack jar because I am that hungry. And I remember I used to wake up and just have like a coffee, and I probably wouldn't eat till like 12, 1 o'clock, and that's obviously a form of fasting. And if you're training in the morning and you're not fueling your body before your sessions, again, it's a massive stress on your body. Like it doesn't have any fuel to use. So again, if you're someone that has lost your period and you're fasting, stop it. Like just wake up in the morning, listen to your hunger cues. It's so important. When you're hungry, you need to eat. Don't let your body go hungry. And that's something that I really focused on. I didn't fast and I really listened to my body's hunger cues because your body knows when it's hungry. And of course, sometimes we think we're hungry and we're thirsty, but when you're trying to regain your period, you just need to think that that is like a hunger cue. So it's really important to like honor what your body's wanting. The next thing I think a lot of people don't, or maybe wouldn't like think about when it comes to regaining their cycle, is caffeine intake. Now, I've actually never been one for having too much coffee because I get the shakes and really bad anxiety, really bad. So I think like the most coffee I'd have in a day is 2. But when I was doing a lot of CrossFit, I was also having 1 Nocco, which is a energy drink, it's like a White Monster. And I was having 1 Nocco and then a coffee in the morning as well. And it's probably not a lot of caffeine, but for me, it was a lot of caffeine. I don't know if that's something that kind of attributed to me losing my period, but it is something that I stopped when I was trying to get it back. And now I only really have 1 coffee a day, max 2 if I want, but sometimes that second one does send me over the edge, so I have to always be the person that asks for 1 shot. I never know though, is a latte 1 shot or 2? Because I always say please just with 1 shot, and some people are like, yeah, that's all it is, and then some people are like, no, it is 2, so I don't know. So yeah, for someone that has a lot of caffeine, it definitely might be worth looking at your caffeine intake. And yeah, those are my main top tips really when it comes to regaining your cycle. And I think like the most important thing is just to not stress about it. I think a lot of women kind of think, oh, is it here? Like, when is it gonna come? And you really have to not think about it, because when you don't think about it is when it's gonna come back, and you really have to just try and manage, you know, those thoughts and just really think about like not overtraining. And this like even implies to like your step count. If you're like purposely going on walks every single day to try and like burn calories, you need to try and like stop that mindset and just really think that your period is so important. It's not just important for fertility, it's so important for bone health as well. And you know, not having a cycle really affects the onset of like osteoporosis when you're older, and like a load of other health conditions. So it's really important to try and get it back as much as possible. And definitely speak to your doctor, like I said, but I think these tips are the ones that a lot of women need to know. Please, if you don't have your period, just know it will come back. You just have to give it time, and don't ever compare like your time to someone else's, because like I said, everybody's bodies are so different, and yeah, you just have to go at like your own body's pace. And once you get it back, it is kind of easier to regulate. And you know, mine came back and it was like really regular, but I know a few women whose period has come back and it's kind of been a little bit here and there. But even when your period comes back, it's so important to keep up with these steps that I've just kind of explained, because if you go back to restricting your foods, overtraining, having too much caffeine, not getting enough sleep, all of these things are going to contribute to it going again. And your body's just obviously quite sensitive to it, and I definitely feel like my body is quite sensitive to it. Like when I try to diet now, or if I ever try to diet again, I would never drop my calories down to very low, because I wouldn't want to kind of put my body in that position. I definitely kind of do like a longer diet period with higher calories, just to ensure that my body is sweet and it's not feeling overstressed. So definitely just obviously keep an eye on your calories in future, and you know, when you are trying to get it back and when you have got it back, like it does really affect it. So now I actually wanted to chat about this because I get asked it a lot. And in terms of contraception now, obviously I spoke about like my pill journey and my experience, and like my honest truth is I would never ever go on the pill ever again, because I don't need to. I know a lot of women have to go on it because of certain conditions. I know a lot of women with like PCOS and endo have to be on it, and of course like that's absolutely fine. That's like on the doctor's recommendation. You know, if you have to be on it, you have to be on it. But if you don't, and you're only on it for like sex reasons, I'd definitely look at like other options. I know that the copper coil is meant to be good. I've never had it myself, so I don't really want to give advice on it, but I have heard good things. I actually don't use contraception that I put in myself, and I know that sounds really weird, but I actually use an app called Natural Cycles, and it's FDA approved, so it is like a approved form of contraception. And basically what you do is you track your periods, and I think a lot of women don't know, and I didn't know this at one point, and I was quite shocked when I found out, but you can actually only really get pregnant 5 to 6 days of your cycle, which I think is crazy. Like, why are we taking these pills for 30 odd days and we can only really get pregnant for like 5-6 days, give or take? And I know some people will be like, no, you're wrong, like you can get pregnant at any time, but no, you can't. The only time that you can get pregnant is when your egg is in the right position. This is when you're ovulating, and obviously you have to have sex like on the exact day or roughly around it, just because of the lifetime of sperm. I think the lifetime of sperm is like 5 or 6 days, so you just have to be careful around like your ovulation day. And I've actually been using this app for maybe 2 years. Touch wood though, nothing's happened. Like I've not got pregnant at all or had like a scare. I don't think. I really want to touch wood now. But I'd say like my periods are really regular. So I feel like this is a massive benefit for me. Like this app is right every single time for me. It knows exact day that my period comes on because it's so regular, which is obviously a massive bonus. I know that some women's periods are not regular, so you do have to take that into consideration. I feel like if your periods aren't regular, it might not be the right app for you. But yeah, it predicts my periods and it tells me like when's like safe and when's not safe. And yeah, I mean, I've not had any problems whatsoever, and I feel like me saying this is literally me jinxing it, but I've never like felt happier because I'm not putting fake hormones into my body, relying on something like that, and I'm just myself. I just wish that younger Ellie really knew that she didn't have to be on that pill basically. So yeah, that's what I'm doing now, and I know that there are quite a few different apps, so it's definitely worth like, again, just looking into it. And they always say that of course like alongside the app you should have safe sex, etc., and I completely agree. So yeah, it's just one of those things where you have to find what's right for you, and I just thought I would share what I'm doing because I do get asked quite a lot. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video, or I hope that you found it really useful, and if you have any questions then let me know below. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, so please speak to your doctor first. It's really important, and this is just like my experience and I just want to share it with you because I do get asked a lot, and I know that some women will find this video really helpful. And like I said, if you have lost your period, please know that you will get it back and you'll be absolutely fine, I promise. But you've definitely got to take those steps in order to get it back, because it's not going to come back if you stay in like your same routine. To make a change, you have to change, and it's so important. So yeah, please make sure that you like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you at the same time next week. Bye bye, guys.